What if I told you that one book could change how you see obsession, fate, and the very nature of humanity itself? Today, we're diving deep into Herman Melville's Moby Dick, a novel that's been called everything from the greatest American epic to an unreadable bore. But here's the thing, most people who dismiss this masterpiece have never actually experienced its true power. I've spent my career as a book editor reading thousands of novels, and I can tell you with absolute certainty that Moby Dick stands in a category entirely its own. This isn't just a story about a man hunting a whale. It's a profound exploration of human nature that will leave you questioning everything you thought you knew about determination, leadership, and the price we pay for our deepest desires. Published in 1851, Moby Dick initially flopped commercially, leaving Melville financially ruined and critically dismissed. Yet today, scholars and readers worldwide recognise it as perhaps America's greatest literary achievement. Why the dramatic reversal? Because this novel operates on multiple levels simultaneously. It's an adventure story, a philosophical treatise, a technical manual on whaling, and a psychological thriller all wrapped into one unprecedented work. The genius of Melville lies in how he transforms what could have been a simple revenge tale into something far more complex and haunting. Through the eyes of narrator Ishmael, we witness Captain Ahab's consuming quest for the white whale that took his leg, but we also encounter profound meditations on existence, destiny, and what it means to be human in an indifferent universe. This summary will reveal why Moby Dick continues to captivate readers more than 170 years after its publication, exploring the main events that drive this epic narrative and uncovering the timeless lessons that make this novel more relevant today than ever before. Herman Melville crafted Moby Dick during a period of intense personal and artistic growth, drawing from his own experiences aboard whaling ships to create what many consider the definitive American novel. Born from Melville's desire to write something truly significant after the modest success of his earlier adventure novels, this work represents his ambitious attempt to capture the essence of American experience in the mid-19th century. The novel emerged during America's whaling boom, when these maritime expeditions were crucial to the nation's economy, providing oil for lamps and lubricants for machinery. Melville understood that whaling represented something quintessentially American, the willingness to venture into unknown territories in pursuit of profit and adventure, regardless of the dangers involved. This backdrop provides the perfect setting for exploring themes that will define American literature for generations. What sets Moby Dick apart from other novels of its era is Melville's revolutionary narrative approach. Rather than following conventional storytelling structures, he created something entirely new, a work that seamlessly blends multiple genres and perspectives. The novel functions simultaneously as a realistic account of whaling life, a symbolic exploration of human psychology, and a philosophical investigation into mankind's relationship with nature and fate. Melville's writing style in Moby Dick reflects his extensive reading of Shakespeare, the Bible, and classical literature, yet he forged something distinctly American. His prose ranges from conversational and humorous to deeply poetic and philosophical, sometimes within the same chapter. This stylistic versatility allows him to capture both the mundane realities of shipboard life and the profound mysteries of existence that his characters encounter on their journey. The novel's initial reception was disappointing, with many contemporary readers finding it too complex, too long, and too philosophical for their tastes. Critics were divided, some recognising its ambition, while others dismissed it as pretentious and unfocused. However, this initial failure would later be understood as evidence of how far ahead of its time Moby Dick truly was, anticipating literary techniques and themes that wouldn't become widely accepted until the 20th century. The narrative begins when Ishmael, a young man seeking adventure and meaning, decides to join a whaling voyage. In New Bedford, he meets Queequeg, a Polynesian harpooner whose initial frightening appearance gives way to genuine friendship and mutual respect. This relationship establishes one of the novel's central themes, the possibility of human connection transcending cultural and racial boundaries. Their journey leads them to Nantucket, where they sign aboard the Pequod, a whaling ship under the command of Captain Ahab. Initially absent from deck, Ahab eventually reveals himself as a man consumed by a singular obsession, hunting Moby Dick, the legendary white whale that destroyed his previous ship and took his leg in their last encounter. Ahab's monomaniacal quest transforms what should have been a profitable whaling expedition into something far more dangerous and personal. The crew of the Pequod represents a microcosm of humanity, with sailors from around the world working together under Ahab's increasingly tyrannical leadership. First mate Starbuck, a rational Quaker, recognises the madness of Ahab's quest and attempts to maintain some semblance of normal whaling operations. However, Ahab's charismatic intensity gradually converts most of the crew to his cause, binding them to his obsession through a combination of gold coins, stirring speeches, and psychological manipulation. As the Pequod sails across the oceans, the crew encounters various other whaling ships, each providing news, stories, or warnings about Moby Dick. These meetings create mounting tension as they track the whale's movements across the Pacific. Meanwhile, successful hunts of other whales provide Melville opportunities to explore the technical aspects of whaling while building toward the inevitable confrontation. The climactic battle with Moby Dick unfolds over 3 days of intense struggle. The white whale proves to be everything the legends claimed: enormous, intelligent, and seemingly indestructible. In the final confrontation, Moby Dick destroys the Pequod, taking Ahab and the entire crew down with the ship. Only Ishmael survives, rescued by another vessel, living to tell the tale that becomes the novel we've just experienced. This tragic ending serves multiple purposes. It completes Ahab's arc from wounded captain to destroyed obsessive, demonstrates the ultimate price of unchecked ambition, and provides the narrative framework that allows Ishmael to recount these events. The destruction is both inevitable and shocking, fulfilling the story's tragic trajectory while leaving readers to contemplate its deeper meanings. The first major event that shapes the entire narrative occurs when Ishmael makes his fateful decision to go whaling. This seemingly simple choice launches him into a world of adventure and philosophical discovery. Melville uses Ishmael's initial motivations, a desire for adventure mixed with spiritual restlessness, to explore broader themes about why humans seek meaning through dangerous pursuits. The decision represents mankind's eternal struggle between safety and significance, comfort and challenge. Ishmael's encounter with Queequeg at the Spouter Inn serves as the novel's second pivotal moment. Their friendship transcends initial cultural barriers and racial prejudices, demonstrating Melville's progressive views on human equality. Queequeg's character challenges contemporary American assumptions about civilization and savagery, revealing how external appearances can mask inner nobility. Their bond becomes a counterpoint to the destructive relationships that dominate the rest of the novel, showing how genuine human connection can overcome superficial differences. The revelation of Captain Ahab's true purpose marks the third crucial turning point. When Ahab finally appears on deck and announces his intention to hunt Moby Dick, he transforms the voyage from a commercial venture into a personal vendetta. This moment crystallizes the conflict between individual obsession and collective responsibility. Ahab's speech to the crew reveals his extraordinary charismatic power and his ability to bend others to his will, establishing him as both a compelling leader and a dangerous fanatic. Ahab's successful conversion of the crew through the doubloon ceremony represents the fourth major event. By nailing a gold coin to the mast and promising it to whoever spots Moby Dick first, Ahab creates a shared investment in his obsession. This moment demonstrates how personal vendettas can become collective enterprises and how material incentives can corrupt moral judgment. The crew's enthusiastic response shows how easily groups can be manipulated by charismatic leaders offering simple solutions to complex problems. The series of encounters with other whaling ships constitutes the fifth major development. Each meeting provides crucial information about Moby Dick while building suspense toward the final confrontation. The captain of the Samuel Enderby, who lost his arm to the white whale but bears no grudge, serves as a foil to Ahab's obsessive hatred. These encounters reveal different ways of responding to trauma and loss, highlighting the choice between acceptance and revenge that defines Ahab's character. The Pequod's successful whale hunts represent the sixth significant element, showcasing the dangerous reality of whaling while providing technical education about the industry. These sequences demonstrate the crew's skill and courage in their legitimate work, contrasting with the madness of their ultimate mission. Melville uses these hunting scenes to explore themes of man versus nature, the brutality necessary for survival, and the complex relationship between civilization and violence. Starbuck's internal struggle and his consideration of mutiny forms the seventh major thread. As the voice of reason and morality aboard the Pequod, Starbuck represents the conscience that Ahab has abandoned. His inability to act decisively against Ahab's tyranny illustrates the difficulty of opposing charismatic authority even when moral principles are at stake. Starbuck's tragic passivity demonstrates how good people can become complicit in destructive enterprises through inaction. The 3-day battle with Moby Dick serves as the climactic eighth event, bringing all narrative threads to their devastating conclusion. The white whale's intelligence and power exceed even the crew's expectations, revealing nature as a force beyond human control or comprehension. Ahab's destruction in the final encounter completes his transformation from wounded victim to tragic hero, while the Pequod's sinking eliminates everyone except Ishmael, whose survival provides the narrative framework for the entire story. The primary lesson from Moby Dick concerns the destructive nature of unchecked obsession. Ahab's relentless pursuit of the white whale demonstrates how single-minded focus, taken to extremes, can destroy not only the obsessed individual, but everyone around them. Modern readers can apply this lesson to various contemporary contexts, from toxic work environments driven by obsessive leaders to personal relationships damaged by unbalanced priorities. The novel suggests that healthy ambition requires balanced perspective and consideration for others affected by our choices. Leadership emerges as another crucial theme, with Ahab serving as a case study in charismatic but ultimately destructive authority. His ability to inspire and manipulate his crew reveals how powerful leaders can bend others to their will, even when pursuing obviously dangerous goals. Contemporary readers can recognise similar patterns in political movements, corporate cultures, and social organisations where charismatic figures lead followers toward questionable ends. The novel teaches us to question authority and maintain independent judgment, even when swept up in collective enthusiasm. The relationship between Ishmael and Queequeg provides profound insights into overcoming prejudice and building genuine human connections. Their friendship demonstrates that meaningful relationships require looking beyond surface differences to recognise shared humanity. In our increasingly diverse and connected world, this lesson remains vitally relevant for building bridges across cultural, racial, and ideological divides. The novel suggests that genuine understanding comes through personal interaction and shared experiences, rather than abstract theorising about others. Melville's treatment of fate versus free will offers another significant takeaway. Throughout the novel, characters struggle with questions about whether their destinies are predetermined or whether they can shape their own futures through conscious choices. Ahab believes he's fulfilling his destiny by pursuing Moby Dick, yet his obsession ultimately becomes a prison that destroys his freedom and that of his crew. This tension reminds modern readers to balance acceptance of circumstances beyond their control with active responsibility for choices within their influence. The novel's exploration of man's relationship with nature provides timely ecological insights. Moby Dick represents nature as a force that cannot be conquered or controlled, despite humanity's technological advances and confidence in its dominion over the natural world. The white whale's ultimate triumph serves as a reminder of nature's power and unpredictability. Contemporary environmental challenges make this lesson particularly relevant, suggesting the need for humility and respect in our interactions with natural systems. Starbuck's moral dilemma illustrates the importance of acting on ethical convictions even when facing powerful opposition. His failure to stop Ahab's destructive quest demonstrates how passive goodness often proves insufficient when confronting active evil or madness. The novel suggests that maintaining moral integrity sometimes requires difficult choices and brave actions, even when the personal cost is significant. This lesson applies to numerous contemporary situations where individuals must choose between personal safety and ethical responsibility. The diverse crew of the Pequod offers insights into building functional multicultural communities. Despite their different backgrounds, languages, and beliefs, the sailors generally work together effectively until Ahab's obsession divides them. Their example suggests that cooperation across differences is possible when people focus on shared goals and mutual respect. However, the crew's ultimate fate also warns about how toxic leadership can poison even well-functioning diverse groups. Ishmael's role as narrator provides lessons about the importance of witnessing and storytelling in processing traumatic experiences. His survival allows him to share the tale, transforming personal tragedy into universal wisdom. The novel suggests that meaning can emerge from suffering when experiences are thoughtfully examined and shared with others. This perspective offers hope for individuals and communities dealing with their own tragedies, indicating that difficult experiences can become sources of insight and growth. The technical aspects of whaling that Melville includes demonstrate the value of deep knowledge and expertise in any field. The novel's detailed descriptions of whaling techniques, ship operations, and marine biology reflect Melville's commitment to authenticity and thorough research. This attention to detail reminds contemporary readers that surface-level knowledge often proves insufficient for understanding complex subjects, whether professional, personal, or creative endeavours. Finally, the novel's structure and style teach important lessons about communication and artistic expression. Melville's willingness to experiment with different narrative techniques, incorporate multiple genres, and address philosophical questions alongside adventure elements shows how creative expression can transcend conventional boundaries. This approach encourages modern readers to think creatively about their own communication challenges and to recognise that the most impactful messages often require innovative delivery methods. Moby Dick endures as a masterpiece because it successfully addresses timeless questions about human nature while remaining grounded in the specific historical moment of America's whaling era. Melville created something unprecedented, a novel that works simultaneously as adventure story, philosophical treatise, and psychological exploration. The book's initial commercial failure, followed by eventual recognition as America's greatest novel, demonstrates how truly innovative art often requires time for audiences to develop the capacity to appreciate its full value. The novel's continuing relevance stems from its honest examination of human motivations and the consequences of our choices. Ahab's destructive obsession serves as a warning about the dangers of unchecked ambition, while Ishmael and Queequeg's friendship offers hope for genuine human connection across cultural boundaries. These themes resonate strongly in our contemporary world where leadership challenges, cultural divisions, and environmental concerns mirror many of the issues Melville explored. Perhaps most importantly, Moby Dick reminds us that great literature doesn't provide simple answers, but rather helps us ask better questions. The novel's complexity and ambiguity reflect the genuine difficulty of understanding human experience and our place in the larger universe. Rather than offering easy solutions, Melville challenges readers to engage deeply with fundamental questions about meaning, morality, and mortality that every generation must address anew. The technical mastery Melville displays in crafting this epic serves as inspiration for anyone pursuing excellence in their chosen field. His willingness to experiment with form, incorporate extensive research, and tackle ambitious themes demonstrates the kind of dedication required to create lasting value. The novel stands as proof that meaningful achievement often requires taking significant risks and pushing beyond conventional boundaries, even when immediate success seems unlikely. Ultimately, Moby Dick succeeds because it treats readers as intelligent partners capable of engaging with complex ideas and challenging material. Melville respected his audience enough to demand their full attention and intellectual participation. This approach created a work that continues rewarding careful study more than 170 years after its publication, proving that artistic integrity and commercial success, while not always immediately compatible, can eventually align when creators remain committed to their highest standards and most ambitious visions.